Cowboy fans and YouTubers? It's that VA Dallas Cowboy fan coming back at you. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting down below. I make these videos for me and you, and they're a little therapeutic because we got somewhat of football happening. As of, well, I don't know if it's technically on their timeline or the NFL's timeline, but the information that came out about a month ago or a while back said that yesterday and today would be the first times that teams could actually get inside their helmets and shells and have walk-through practices. That's a huge step forward from just virtual learning. And that's great to hear, especially after we signed Everson Griffin last night. That means he gets a playbook. He gets to get into strength and conditioning. He can get into the virtual meetings immediately, and he can go out on the field and technically participate in the walkthroughs like anybody else because they're not fully padded. They're not, contact or anything. So he can walk through and get kind of the paces going, the mental reps, just like everybody else. So that's great news. I can't wait. I'm excited. Other than that, I've heard word that Joe Looney has been spotted as the starting center. We kind of figured after Frederick retired that he'd have been next man up because he has the experience, even though we have Tyler Biadasz, except he has no NFL experience, so they want to bring him along slowly. And especially with this offseason being different, they didn't want to rush him into anything. So they're going to go with the one you know, and that's Joe Looney. I hear that Connor McGovern, people wanted him to start, and it looks like they got their wish. It looks to me that he is the starting left guard right now because Connor Williams is still not cleared for practices due to his ACL tear. Last offseason, it was late in the season, so you figure an ACL takes 9 to 12 months to heal up and heal properly, unless you're superhuman like Adrian Peterson. And he hasn't been cleared physically by any doctors to participate in any walkthroughs, practices, or anything like that. So he's getting the mental reps down with the virtual learning, but as far as on-field work, that's going to Connor McGovern. So now you're looking at a starting lineup of Tyron Smith, Connor McGovern, Joe Looney, Zach Martin, and La'el Collins. Now, La'el Collins is basically understated because last year he was the best offensive lineman we had. He played in all games and he gave up no pressures. Well, he missed the Jets game, I do believe. But other than that, he's been there. And he's been pretty productive. He hasn't had any drop-offs or anything crazy. He allows, I think, either one or just half a sack. Something like that. His numbers are impressive. He graded out for what should have been one of the best right tackles in all of football. But he was underappreciated and nobody talked about him. Well, when you're going up with three perennial Pro Bowlers and Martin, Frederick, and Smith, kind of hard to get some love. Just like how we had Smith, Ron Leary, Frederick, Zach Martin, and Doug Free. Nobody gave Doug Free or Ron Leary any kind of love because they were just the odd men out. They didn't get the accolades. They didn't get the Pro Bowl invites and none of that. Even though, due to his work with Dallas, Ron Leary got a nice payday for Denver, and he had a nice career there, even winning that Super Bowl on their offensive line. So that's something for him. And, of course, Doug Free retired. So that's what we got right now. We have our supposed starting lineup. We have our defense looking together as far as personnel-wise. We know who we have definitively, other than Randy Gregory. He's the only question mark right now. And there's a quote that came out during Dak Prescott's press conference yesterday that people seem to be looking at a little extra. and it's the fact that he talked about the communication between the guys on the field and the coach. And he was quoted as saying something to the effect of the communication on the field could have been better. It definitely could have been better in certain situations. And with the new coaches, they've basically shored up that deficiency and are doing a whole lot better than what they were before. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a little bit of a dig at Garrett and his coaches, because there were times where it just seemed off. Like, the defense, especially, you saw it. There were times where they just looked out of place, out of sorts, and you're wondering, between Chris Richard and Rob Marinelli, who's calling this defense? Who's having these guys in these bad, god-awful positions, And it's stuff like that on the field that's hurting them, because you got no real leader at the time there than Sean Lee, who was like general of the defense. You didn't get an Earl Thomas that everybody wanted to say was like a general on the field. They knew Chris Richard, so that was out of the question. So you had somebody like Jeff Heath running with the safeties and the secondary, trying to be the guy. And it just didn't work out well. Now you got different coaches, different mindsets. It seemed kind of obvious that in some games last year, it looked like the team kind of quit on Garrett. A lot of people say they quit on him in that Philadelphia game, and that's really the only reason why they beat us. And we just looked defeated, and we gave the game away. Because we knew if we won the game and went into the playoffs, we were stuck with Jason Garrett, and they weren't about to let that happen. So you had that little bit of little discrepancy there in the end of our season. Because, it kind of makes sense, because they went out, beat the snot out of the Rams the week before. Then they just put up a dud against the Eagles, and then go out and blow out the Redskins to end the season. Like, why was that the only game that you kind of, waffed on, really? It's like some games you had times where you showed that y'all can be absolutely dominant, like the first 3 games of the season, the Rams game and the Redskins game, both Giants games. And then you have duds where it was like something mental or coaching or bad execution, like the Saints games, the New England game, the Jets game, Buffalo, where y'all were there, y'all could have won if y'all did just 1 or 2 different things, but you didn't. And you just kind of wonder why. And now we kind of know that maybe there was some communication problems with the players and the coaches, and in the end, they just said, you know what? To heck with this. We're done playing for these guys. And the only way to get rid of them is to basically not tank the season, but not win the division crown to have these guys stay on more seasons, because that's the kind of thing that Jerry Jones would have kept them around for. If we won the division and got a playoff berth, y'all have been like, oh, see, they can win us a Super Bowl. I believe in these guys. No. Because that's the bull that he peddled in 2018, when 2017 we sucked balls. And then 2018, you turn it around, get into the playoffs, win a game, and then you believe Jason Garrett is still the guy. No. He got lucky in 2016 that nobody's ever seen Zeke or Dak. 2017 showed what really was going on, that this is not the team that is going to win anything, especially with this coach around. And then you get lucky in 2018 again, just to walk into 2019 and be like, this is the same coach that does the same bull over and over. Why do you keep giving him more chances? So, it ended up the way it ended up. We all are happier now. That whole decade of is over. Thank God. But geez, I know it had to hurt Jerry because you let go of a guy who spent 7 years as a player and 14 seasons as a offensive coordinator or head coach for this team. That's a lot of years to be holding on to one guy that you think could have been something and turned out to be nothing. I know Jerry doesn't like to be called for being wrong, but that was wrong. But live and you learn. It took way too long to get rid of the guy, but we're here now. New coaches, new regime. It sounds like everybody's a lot more excited. Everybody seems pumped. Everybody seems ready. They seem to be more mature about everything going on. I mean, you know, aside from a very weird offseason, you haven't heard anything coming out of Cowboys that is like, oh man, how'd this star player do something stupid? You know, all that seems to be in the past. You haven't heard any incidents of a Cowboy being arrested for something crazy, especially a starter, like some other teams. Ain't gonna say no names. But, yeah. All in all, it seems like the Cowboys are heading in the right direction. Their arrow is pointing up. I like that. I like to see it. Fans are pumped. The team is pumped. Let's hope we can get through the season. Because as you know, Jerry Jones is doing it for the fans. He wants those fans in the stands. I mean, he's saying, you know, you're putting yourself at personal risk for coming out to a game, and that's on the fans. But he's hoping that, you know, everything the Cowboys can do will be facilitated to taking care of anything that goes on at the stadium. Now it's just on the fans to act civilized. And I think as home games and having that little extra bit of oomph by our home fans will definitely make a difference for us. As far as road games, it just depends on where they play. Because I hate that my buddy, my co-worker, he had tickets to go to a game this season, and he just received word the other day that the game, well, the fans have not been allowed to go to the games, and the ticket has been reimbursed to him. It sucks. He wanted to go. He couldn't wait. He was so excited. But now he's not going to get that chance. I mean, this is 2020. This is what we got. But hopefully 2021's a better deal. Everything will turn around in the next couple months, we hope, for the better. And we'll go from there. All right. That's all I got for y'all today. Hope this didn't go too long for you. Anyway, if anything else happens, like Travis Kelce getting an extension, I think 4 years, $75 million. It seems like Kansas City got all the money in the world, apparently, even though everybody else is talking pinching pennies. Georgia picked Kittle from the 49ers. He just got an extension. And 49ers are also looking at Tavon Austin to bring him in, see what he's got, hoping he latches on with them. He has been with the NFC West before with the Rams, but as you know, John Fossil did not take to him, especially in special teams, and he could never really do anything on offense, especially with us. So, it is what it is. I think that's all the major news for right now. Hope you have a good Thursday. Hope you have a pre-Friday, pre-weekend happiness. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. The Dallas Cowboys fan out.